He's angry about mortgages. It's Angry Mortgage. He's swearing. He's cursing loud. He's old. He's opinionated. And he's been doing this so damn long. This program is about mortgages, and this is mortgage advice, but the advice may not apply to your situation. Contact licensed mortgage professionals for specific recommendations before you make decisions about mortgages. You may not agree with Ron, but if you don't, he thinks you're wrong. Oh, and did we say there is a lot of swearing?
And we are back on the air. Angry Mortgage Podcast is on the air in late September. Is it possible all hell's breaking loose in the real estate market in southwestern Ontario? We're going to talk about it.
Oh, shit.
Ron Butler, ogre-sized mortgage broker, old ogre-sized mortgage broker, and Natalie Butler, realtor extraordinaire, and
also oversized.
And the real estate is becoming less extraordinaire as time goes by.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Special thank you to the guy who wanted to see me shart myself.
There's always some wild comments on the. I delete some of them, but there are some wild comments on the podcast from last week. What did the guy say?
It was. I thought, because remember I wasn't feeling well and I sneezed.
Yeah, you sneeze coughed, yeah.
He's like, I thought Natalie was going to shart herself when she sneezed, was kind of looking forward to that.
Oh.
Well, sir, just a special shout out to you. That's on my other channel. But
my God.
That's a pay for subscription.
Oh, the OnlyFans. No, folks, relax.
The market is shit. I had to find other markets.
People, relax. Let the listeners and watchers, viewers know there is no OnlyFans account.
It's a joke,
they're joking. We're joking.
Buddy.
There'll be 300 comments on that too, I'm sure. Jesus Christ. Anyway, we're in. All of a sudden, we sort of been watching it and thinking about it all summer and talking about it in early September. Very high mortgage rates create a big problem.
They do.
They simply create a big problem. And by the way, this is really important that I say this, because there's all kinds of people that there is no problem. Okay. If you don't have to sell your house, if you don't have to buy a house, if you don't have to, if you've got no mortgage,
you're just going to wait it out,
or you've got a very small mortgage, or you love your house, it's free and clear, and you're not going to sell, and you got a fixed rate mortgage at 1.79
for a couple more years.
I guess you don't have any problems.
You don't care.
You don't care. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
But we do know there's a lot of people who do care, because we're in the mortgage and real estate business.
Yeah. No, I had someone message me this morning, actually, and I thought perfect timing because I could bring it to the pod. Just a picture of this house. It was listed in Clarkson in Mississauga, listed a little over 1.1, but it was fully redone. So it was here's the story, bought in 2021 in the height of the market.
The high point, yeah.
Listed for $799, sold for $938.
Big jump.
Okay. So this guy... in competition, obviously, this guy messaged me this morning. So it looks like it was completely gutted and redone on the inside, but the outside is in complete shambles.
Oh, wait a second. How so shambles? Tell me.
Oh, just overgrown weeds. You can tell stuff needs it, the outside, but the inside does look, based on the pictures, quite nice.
Okay.
So I'm going to go out on a limb and call it a failed flip. They missed the market. They bought in the height of the market, redid it, missed the market getting it on. It even has an apartment in the basement.
You figured they put that in?
I couldn't really tell because I took a quick look at it. Haven't walked through it. Didn't see it when it was originally listed, so I can't say for sure. But it looks like a dated kitchen in the basement.
Okay.
But the main level has all been redone. He goes, do you think I can get this for $9? It's listed at 1.1 because of where the market is.
Yeah.
I'm going, well, it seems a little high based on the market, but let me take a look. That's when I discovered it had just recently sold, and it's pretty recent. 2021 is still recent.
Yeah, it's not long. That's not like 10 years ago, yeah.
And I'm like, well, considering they paid $938 for it, I'm going to go with an educated guess and put at least 80 to 100,000 into it.
Sure.
Probably not, unless they're in pure financial destitute. But if it was my client, I would advise them to take it off the market, rent it so that it pays for itself, or at least somewhat pays for itself, and try again when the market heats back up. He's like, well, is there any way we can find out if they're in financial destitute? I'm like,
no,
wow.
you're in trouble. Find out if they're in trouble. Yeah.
But that's where we're at right now. These houses sold for crazy prices in the height of the market. Work's being done to them. It looks like from the pictures, pretty quality work. Like, I'm obviously going to go take a look at it in person, but that's where we're at right now, is that the market has, I wouldn't even say softened. It's a goo.
Yeah.
It is goo.
Yeah. So
what can they actually sell to get out of that place?
Yeah. I mean, here's something interesting that, based on just what you've said.
Yeah.
This is what it illustrates so perfectly, what you just described.
Mm-hmm.
The concept of market sentiment.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've gone all the way from, I'm going to put in multiple bids. What do you think I got to put in? To how low could I bid on this place? Like, what kind of ridiculously low bid do you think I could maybe force out of these people?
Well, for what this guy was willing to pay, that they're going to take conservatively $150,000 to $200,000 bath on the property. And are they in that position where they have to? That's really where we're at right now.
Yeah, because, folks, for people who are not doing this for a living, this is all about math, right? Mm-hmm. It's about, what did you pay for the place? Yeah. What was your costs to renovate? Mm-hmm. Your
legals, your land transfer. Don't forget about all that too.
Sure. And then now to sell, we got commissions to pay, real estate commissions to pay. Once again, legals to pay. Yeah. There's been the interest carrying cost during that time. So how does that math all work? Does it turn into a loss? Is anybody willing to take a loss? Your suggestion of, okay, rents are pretty high these days. Maybe you got 2 suites. Maybe you can capitalize on that. But then there's a ton of other stuff going on too. Like, who are these people who did this? What's their situation? They may be doing it someplace else. They may have other houses in this scenario, and they're feeling the pressure on all sides. I'll tell a bigger story about that later in the show. But is it the multiples of problems that people have?
Yeah, no, you got to feel bad, because the work that they did on this place, it would have sold for 1.1, 1.2 all day long. Like,
6 months ago,
year and a half ago. Yeah, not 6 months ago. It was a year and a half ago.
No, but let's say, you remember when the market was running hot in May?
It wasn't hot. It was just sort of, it got a little
hotter.
Yeah.
It was not.
It's like
ice cold.
It was an after tremor.
Let's just run through the whole, for people who are listening, let's just run through the whole sort of gamut of what happened. I mean, we went through COVID, and then things were really, really wild in the initial stages of COVID in 2020. And then 2021 turned into the biggest year in the history of real estate in Canada. The biggest year. And prices went up everywhere. Like, prices went up in Winnipeg, for God's sakes. Okay,
everywhere. It was crazy.
Now, in Winnipeg, they didn't go through the roof. Okay, but they went up a bit.
But they did for Winnipeg.
They did for Winnipeg.
You have to look at the history of the areas.
Of Winnipeg. Yeah, fair. In provinces that typically did not experience big run-ups, like Quebec. Quebec's always been very steady, not super high prices. They went through a burst of activity, and prices increased in Quebec, all through Quebec. And so it was prevalent in 2021 that it was just a banner year. There was the biggest year in mortgages by like 15%. Nothing ever came close to the mortgage year of 20, and rock bottom rates. Rates were zero, basically, right?
Yeah, free money.
Free money. So and by the way, folks, that's a legitimate comment, because any time interest rates are lower than inflation, an economist would say it's free.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it is.
As close to free as you're going to get.
As free as you're ever going to get, because when inflation's running higher than the interest rate, wow. I mean, you just have to buy something and it just goes up, okay? So cut to 2022. Basically in March, rates had gone up to the point where the market slowed right down. Started to slow. There was carryover, though. Like, the thing about the real estate business is and the mortgage business, it runs about 90 days behind, right? Like, if you do a transaction today, the house isn't closing today. You're just getting an offer signed off.
Typical closing 60 to 90 days.
60 to 90
Probably
days.
Closer to 90.
Yeah, exactly. So
what happened? Get it done in 2 weeks. But
yeah, sure. But
your lawyer will hate you.
And God good luck getting it done. And good luck getting a mortgage on it. So in 2 weeks. So here's the thing. 2022, you could tell things were going off the rails because the rates were so high. Mortgage rates were so high after March. And then, but it takes time. It takes time. Like, I mean, things get, now by the summer, you could really tell something had happened. Like, I mean, transactions were way low, summer of 2022. Yeah. Rates were high. And that was a very, very quiet fall and winter in 2022. Very quiet.
Yeah, and I think we've referred to it as smoking the hopium.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, it's just the end of summer. Everything will be A-okay. Yeah, it's just the end of summer. It's always like this.
And that's the other thing about rate increases. To your point, it's the other thing about rate increases. Nobody's sure. There's a little hopium. There's a little bit of hopium to smoke. I mean, okay, well, maybe this will all work itself out soon because, if you've gone through 12 or 13 years of ultra low rates were basically never gotten to the fours. Never. Yeah. For like 12 years, there was hardly ever a rate in the fours. Okay. Yeah. You think, well, this is just a temporary thing and it's going to be over with soon and everything's going to be fine. But still very, very quiet. The fall and winter of 2022 were very quiet. And then in January of 2023, there's this mini U.S. banking crisis. Like a big bank went broke. Silicon Valley Bank folded. Other smaller banks folded. They were gone. And all of a sudden, the bond market was saying, bond traders in North America or in Canada were saying, well, there's a big fucking banking crisis. Then I guess rates are going to come down because that's how they deal with a crisis. The Federal Reserve cuts rates, and because that's the truth. That's the goddamn truth. COVID happened, cut rates. Great financial crisis back in 2008, cut rates. Okay, cut rates. So people said, well, we got a banking crisis, cut the rates, but it wasn't as big a crisis as people thought. But rates did come down. Fixed rates came down. Variable didn't come down because the Bank of Canada never changed. It didn't change a thing. Okay, but fixed rates came down into the fours. You could get a fixed rate in the fours in April, May, maybe June. It was gone by the end of June, but and all of a sudden there was a bit of action. Like people were saying, well, if I get, prices come down because they did come down through that very, very bad fall of 2022. And people said, well, prices are a little lower. Everything seems to be fine now. Rates are coming down. Time to buy. Okay. And it wasn't bad, right? It wasn't a horrible. No. It wasn't a horrible spring. Okay. It wasn't a horrible
you couldn't
spring.
compare it to the height of things. Everyone's like, oh, it's so bad.
No, you're right.
No, you were just used to insanity.
Yeah. You were used to crazy town for 18 months. But
I think the real question is who's going to win this tug of war? Well, it's a real estate tug of war right now because you've got the predators, that's what I call them, out there waiting for pure financial ruin. But if that's not you and you can, because it's the high rates and the inability to buy because there's still not a ton of inventory. And what's out there, they still want their price, which is driving the rental prices up. So everything's sort of at a stalemate-ish right now. Hey, unless you are sincerely driven to do so.
You talk about rents going up. They published numbers on Friday. There's a suburb of a far suburb of Toronto. It's far. Like Brampton is far, right? Is it fair to say Brampton is far from Toronto?
Depends on what area.
But still, it's a bit of a drive. It's a drive to get to if you want to watch the Jays game, it's a drive. Okay, so the rents in Brampton went up more than, well, not quite, but almost the same as downtown Toronto. Like the rents in Brampton have gone up enormously.
It costs minimum $2,500 to live in a basement.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And you may or may not be able to escape during a fire.
There's that.
There's not a lot of sunlight down there.
No, there isn't.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. We got, but we have slowing sales because nobody can qualify for a mortgage.
And slowing sales because if I bought like the house I was just talking about this morning, if I bought that at 938, I'm not selling it for any and put $100,000 into it unless I absolutely have to. I'm not selling it. I'll sit on it.
Great point, because
that's what I mean. The tug of war.
And there is a tug of war. No. There is always that moment before a situation becomes obvious, when people are still thinking, well, I got to get my price, and everybody else is thinking buyer sentiment, saying, well, I got to wait for a price drop.
Yeah.
And then there's not a lot of sales. Not a lot of sales happen.
Well,
okay.
Another property, $25,000 price drop, not a showing.
Not a showing.
And that's a huge price drop. And mark my words, like it started at $950. maybe 6 months ago, you would have got it. It's
I think
the
you
market.
would. You probably would have. Yeah. So, and that house, because we both actually know a little bit about that house, I think that's going to be a sale price in the 8s. It's going to sell,
which
in the
is
8s.
telling of the market.
Very much so. Very much so. So that's a situation where we're watching, and Natalie makes the perfect point. There's going to be that moment in time when people, it's called, in the stock market, it's called capitulation. Okay. So in the stock market, everybody starts to search for price discovery. Buyers want their high price. Sellers decide, I'm not going to pay a high price. I want to pay a low price.
Yeah.
Okay. There's this moment you just described of stalemate. Okay. Like nothing happens. And then typically what happens is capitulation. Like you said, I don't know the problems these people have.
Yeah.
I don't know
Maybe they
these
have
people.
no problems.
Maybe they have no problems. Maybe they'll just cut the grass and rent it. Who knows?
Yeah.
Okay. But the fact the grass is not cut sort of tells me something may be going on. Okay. If the outside is kind of a shambles. All right.
They just don't care.
Or just don't care. But hey, if it turns into, what if the lender takes it back and wants to sell it? That's a different story, right?
Yeah.
Like we don't know. We're making assumptions, folks. But that's price capitulation, when the people who say, I want my price, give up. They just, a lot of them just give up and say, I got to sell. So I need to drop the price.
It's whoever blinks first.
And in a market where there's math, like it's, who the hell qualifies at 8.5%? No, I mean it sincerely, folks. Like, and again, all you geezers out there, well, I had an 18.25%. Shut the fuck up, okay? Like
We can't say that enough.
We cannot say that enough, okay? Like when you paid $189,000 for that house in Scarborough, and you had those high rates, or you paid, Jesus, I think I was listening to somebody said in Winnipeg. Back, they bought a house for like $59,000. Okay, like 25 years ago. Like, holy shit, we're talking like a whole other world. I don't know why we're talking about Winnipeg so much. I think I promised a guy we would talk about it online. But hey, like we gotta get this idea that people could pay 18% out of our minds. Like there's no 18% today.
Yeah.
Okay, not on all these 800,000, 900,000, million two mortgages. There's no goddamn 18%. Just everybody stop thinking that, okay? So what happens? Capitulation. When do we hit a point where enough people who feel they should sell but they're not getting their price, decide to call it a day and, well, I got to give up. I'm going to just sell this sucker. I'm going to put it down to a price that'll sell.
Yeah.
Price capitulation. That's what the future may bear. So that's the story that we're experiencing, but why is it maybe reaching a greater inflection point? Something that happened this week in rates. Rates went up again.
Oh, good.
Remember I said, last show we said, oh, they'd finally calmed down, nothing happened? Well, Ron, talked too fucking soon, okay? Spoke too fucking soon, okay? The minute the fucking show went on the air, the fucking rates went up. Jesus. I mean, it's
don't
crazy.
chart yourself.
Don't chart myself, yeah. By the way, fuck you, the guy who said that. Like, that's stupid. Don't say that anymore. Put the comment on about that. Yeah, don't say that shit anymore. So anyway, like seriously, the rates went up. The minute that the show airs, like literally the next day, the rates started going up. Why? The rates went up like 0.25%. I'm not going to go into that beeps versus bips routine that I did last time, but I mean, but bottom line is, I'm going to make it easy. 0.25%. Rates are going up. Like they haven't all gone up. Most of them have gone up. By the end of next week, they'll all be up 0.25%. Everybody up 0.25%. So
what's a typical rate right now?
Well, it's headed from low sixes, 6.10
super.
to mid sixes.
Oh,
okay.
wow.
And as a smart guy, Steve Zareski said in his commentary last week, are we headed for 7? I don't know. I hope not. Okay.
And then you think back to a year and a half ago where a alternative rate was
2.99.
No, an alternative rate was 6.99, 7.99.
Oh, sorry, a year ago. That would have been a year ago. Yeah.
We're hitting you. That was when you had shit credit or could improve your income.
All true. So now,
those of us that could qualify for the better rates are now paying almost alternative rates from a year ago.
Well, and
Interesting.
here's what, and here's something we're definitely going to do a show on. as the rates get closer and closer to a 7 number, they call it a 7 handle. So as the rates come closer to having a 7 handle, you're qualifying at 9. Okay. Wow. Now, this is going to be we're going to have the show about why the fuck do we need a stress test when everybody's already stressed? Okay. Like everything is stressed now. All right.
I'll say something in favor of the stress test though. The people that went through it a year ago are fucking really glad they did. No, because it is working for them now.
I'm even going to go
It is working for them.
I'm even
now.
going to go past a year. I'm going to go all the way back 5 years.
Oh, for sure.
I'm going to say that I was unshakably in favor of the stress test since the day it came out. I've never said one bad thing about the stress test. Now, I said that it shouldn't apply to renewals, okay? Because I don't know why it makes any sense to say that if you want to go shopping for a new rate, when you're not going to increase your mortgage by, it's renewal time. You want to get a better deal. You don't want to just have to take your own bank's offer. You want to shop. You're not asking for 1 penny more of a mortgage, not a cent bigger, okay?
Yeah.
So why
I agree with that
why
statement.
stress test that? That doesn't make any sense. But now we're reaching a point where the concept behind the stress test was that we got to worry about the future because these rates are super low. They're not super fucking low anymore, okay? Not N-O-T. Like, we're coming into like, they're like they were 20 years ago, for Christ's sake.
N-O-T,
okay?
WTF.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, this is, so does it make sense to protect people with a 9% qualifying rate? Well, we're going to have a whole show about that, but.
It does if the rates reach 9.
It does,
Ooh.
but there's also a moment in time when you're telling people, Mr. and Mrs. First Time Home Buyer, or Mr. and Mr. or Ms. and Ms. However you want, Z and Zay, or thee and I can't do all the pronoun shit.
Yeah.
But folks, you're never going to be allowed to qualify because you're never going to be able to qualify in 9.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're never going to have a house. Like, we got to start to think about that a little bit. Okay. But look, for today, higher rates. Why higher rates? Higher rates because higher bond yields. Remember, these are fixed rates. Not variable, not HELOC rates. The Bank of Canada did not raise. But in the States, even though the U.S. Fed did not raise, they have what they call a hawkish pause. Like they said, we are not saying we've stopped. We think that we got to watch this very closely, and things are not going so good. And if inflation keeps going, so hawkish means probably going to be another increase. Inflation keeps running hot like it has in Canada, easy chance there's going to be another increase. And here's the real problem. I've talked about it 100 times. The more that it looks bad for inflation, that it looks bad, reasons to keep rates higher, Bank of Canada rates, Federal Reserve rates, to keep them higher, it's the longer you stay high. Because if everybody says, people start to say, oh, they're gonna be a rate cut in the summer next year. What if there's not? Yeah. What if it takes a whole fucking year? Well, if it takes a whole fucking year, that's what the bond traders are thinking right now. Mm-hmm. If it takes a year, we need high rates. We need even higher rates than today because we got to project forward 5 years. And if 2 years, 1 year, 2 years is going to be super high, we got to make sure we project that correctly so we don't lose money. And bond rates go up.
Yeah.
And if bond rates go up, bond yields go up, then mortgage rates go up. Then mortgage rates go up. So that's car interest goes up. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, we discussed getting a car because I was just forced into the car market a few months ago.
Stolen car.
My same car that I drove, it was going to be based on the rates now. It was almost $700 more per month to drive the same vehicle.
By the way, the car loaning business is getting so precarious that Bank of Montreal BMO just walked away from it.
Oh.
A week ago. They just said, no, we're not going to do it anymore. Close that whole division down. So, excuse me, folks. I got a bit of a cold.
Take a drink of your water.
But here's the thing. The thing is that rates are going to be higher for longer. So if rates are higher for longer, then the housing problem in terms of who's going to sell for what becomes more exaggerated. Okay, that's it. Now, let me tell you a story. I'm going to drink my water, okay? So everybody say, oh, is there vodka in that? I'm going to save the comments right now. They're going to be like, oh, are you sure there's not vodka in it, Ron? Yeah, there's no vodka in it. I'm telling you, it's
Ron's
water.
not a big drinker. And if he was, it'd be gin.
Listen, well, gin is white. You can get away with that. So, I mean, it's not gin or vodka. God damn it, it's nothing. It's not white rum, nothing. Not silver tequila, nothing. It's just water.
That piney, fresh burn. Ew.
Jeez, I mean, Jesus. Okay, now look, all right. So rates are up, real estate's in trouble, but there is. And when I say that, people say, "Oh, well, looks like he says the bubble's finally burst." Oh, I knew it would. Now, calm down. I did not say that. I said there are issues, there are problems. So, and the problems are always very specific at first. Okay, they're what Natalie just talked about. Huh. There's somebody who did a renovation and wanted to flip, and now he or she has got problems flipping. Okay?
Yeah, 97 days on the market, by the way.
That's a long time in the market.
That's a long time.
So. But again, I say it over and over, there's a lot of people who don't have to buy, don't have to sell, have livable mortgage rates. So when we talk about these things, it's not like the world's ending, but it's a clue of the direction. So let me talk to you about this weird thing that came into our office this week. And I say weird because we haven't encountered this before. We've encountered something a little bit like it, but never something as wild as this. Somebody went out and like 4.5 years ago, between 5 and 4.5 years ago, bought 11 pre-construction condos.
Oh.
Now, they're all spread out. They're in 7 different buildings, like no more than 2 in one building. And a lot of them are sort of like not very great buildings, like kind of nasty buildings. Like by nasty, I mean that they're sort of designed for rental. Okay. Like people can tell, you can always tell there's like too many like 1 bedrooms and studios, like it's very small square footage stuff, like 485 square feet. Anyway, they put out 1.14 million of deposits they bought them over the course of a year. Yeah. Okay. Now, you might say to yourself, well, what's the story? Why did they do this? It's a long story, and some of it's private information. We're not going to reveal it.
Yeah.
But trying to shorten the story. The person in the couple who had the big job lost that job. Okay, recently, like in the last 4 months, the plot thickens.
Yeah,
and lost that job, and it's not a job you can just get overnight. Like there are some jobs, like if you're a medical doctor, and you could even move towns, and you could probably make the same money. Okay,
but if you specialize in unicorns, there's only just a few.
If you're a particular kind of executive. Who works in a particular kind of industry, you're a high level person in that business, and particularly if the things are going a little slower in that industry, when you lose that job, someone doesn't just show up and it's not like you're a data stack person who just goes from one job to another in a week. Okay, like a particular tech skill. Yeah. Or you're not like you're a welder who can go from one job to another quickly. It's a job that could be a year before you get another job. Yeah. So here's the interesting part. They buy these 11 units and they just assume they're going to sell by assignment. Okay. So let me give you that quick primer for everybody out there. Sell by assignment is you bought a property, you bought a condo. You never expected to close. You bought it pre-construction. You knew that it wouldn't be ready for 5 years. You're absolutely sure. You were sure that it would be worth a lot more in 5 years, and that you could just sell the contract to somebody else.
Speculation.
Basically, but it sure as shit worked for 10 years, right?
Oh yeah,
it worked. Okay, you can't say it didn't work. It worked. So people would say, I buy this for $400, $450. When the time comes, it's going to be worth $650. I'm going to sell it for $550. I'm never going to close. I'm never going to need a mortgage. I'm going to find somebody who doesn't want to buy it and rent it because they think it's a good deal. And I'm going to sell it to them, and I'm going to pocket $80,000, $90,000 of sort of profit.
Yeah.
Okay?
You're not going to make that kind of money in interest with your money in the bank, so why not? It was, for a long time, like you said, a good idea.
It was a good idea. It worked for 10 years. Okay. But now the assignment sale market is just slow to a crawl. Okay. So why is that? Well, it's the same reason for everybody. It's high interest rates lead to uncertainty, lead to bad sentiment, lead to I don't want to take a risk.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy something, right? Even though I may be able to make money on it, I got to be able to get a mortgage, and the mortgage rates are very high.
Well, we talk about mortgage rates in the 6. Investment rates are higher than that.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, because you could, you may qualify to buy a house on your own, but you may, if you already own a house, you got a mortgage payment, and do you really qualify, or do you have to use an alternative lender? Anyway, the assignment market has quieted down to it's almost dead. It's very, very, very quiet. Okay, so this couple, and this individual who lost his high-paying job. By the way, he could never, ever gotten a mortgage on all 11. Never going to happen.
Isn't there a limit?
Well, but when he first bought they never expected this couple never expected ever to have to close on any of these. Okay, they sell them all by assignment, but
so he's got over $1 million out in deposits.
1.14 million. Yeah.
What happens now?
One of them is already cracked. Like he just decided, well, in for a penny, in for a pound. I'm out of work. I can't get the mortgage. I'm just going to let it go. They seized his deposit. Now they're going to resell. The builder seizes his deposit and offers the unit for sale.
So this is potentially a 1 point whatever the fuck loss if he can't close any of them.
He can't. His position when he came to us is you find me a mortgage on. I've already lost the one. Could you find me a mortgage on just the next one that's coming up in 6 weeks?
Ooh.
And the answer is no. Ooh. We could not, because we could find him a private mortgage, but nobody, the private people want him to come up with more money. They only want to be in at like 70. Yeah. He's put like 20% down on this unit, but as a deposit, it's going to be ready in 6 weeks. But the private lender says we don't want an 80% unit. We want a 70% loan to value. We don't want to be in, we don't
want that much exposure.
We don't want that much exposure. No. And particularly, and here's the thing. Folks, you should realize if you're like a legitimate mortgage broker, you have to tell everybody about these other 10 units that are coming up, about these other 9 units, okay? He's lost one, okay? You have to tell your lenders about this. You have to do it in an honest way. We couldn't help them. We couldn't help this couple. And they were also candid and honest enough to tell us that, they're having discussions with a bankruptcy trustee, okay? Because they would want to protect their owner-occupied home.
Oh, for sure.
So
it's just unfortunate in some of these situations. In walks Mr. Motherfucker.
Yep. But Mr.
Motherfucker Jr.
But even Mr. Motherfucker doesn't want to go 80% on that condo. So that's it. So that's where we're at on that one. And what's the lesson there though? Like somebody's got to resell those 11 condos, right? It's got to be resold and how easy is that today right now? Is the condo market slowing?
Everything's slowing. And like you said, condos were primarily income based. Like you don't wake up in the morning one day and like condo living is for me. I want to live in 400 square feet. Like, yes, people do love condo living, but it's not those particular units that they love living in. They want a nice building with all the amenities, a bigger space that's actually habitable for their comfortable living. When we're talking about these less than 500 square foot units, that's not somebody's fucking dream to pay 6-7% to own.
But no, I'm glad you brought that up because these people were actually honest in saying that, we think that, 6 out of the 7 projects are kind of crappy buildings. Okay, so I got one. There's one nice one, but it's super expensive, and it's never going to work on that one. Yeah. So I mean, it's an example. Now I know the comments are all going to say greedy bastards. They deserve it. Blah blah blah. Okay, I'm not. That's not my point, because you could be right. Okay.
But what if they're not a greedy bastard? This is their future. They've got 18 kids that have to go to university.
18?
I'm just
they're like super Mormons.
Please,
people, Latter-day Saints people, don't Don't put up a protest.
18 kids and counting, and it's been working for 10 years. And this is the answer to all our problems. Let's take our last 18 cents and put it into all these projects so that in 5 years we make all the money and all the kids, they had quintuplets at the same time, can all go to university. You don't know. So these people waiting. Don't shut yourself.
No, I won't.
Sorry, I'm always going to say that now.
Screw that guy. Okay.
But all these people waiting for the financial ruin. Like, what if they aren't a Mr. Motherfucker, a greedy fucker trying to, what if it isn't just based on pure greed? Like, let's have some heart here, people.
We should have heart. And I just put up a TikTok about not gloating about things going wrong for people. And I mean it sincerely. Don't gloat. Don't goddamn gloat. Don't do it. And just say to yourself, well, I'm lucky I didn't do that. Now I know, like, you can make a point that it was a bit reckless. That by the way, I know there is sort of a hidden reason that I'm not going into as to why they felt more confident about doing it. But I don't want to talk about that because that sort of violates their privacy.
Yeah, we have.
We're not going to do that. We're not going to make it so that when these poor people listen to the podcast, they say, "Oh my God, he's talking absolutely distinctly about us." No, we don't want to do that. There was a reason they thought there was going to be a lot more money available. But certain international things have changed, and now there's not going to be more money available.
Yeah, read between the lines.
Yeah, no, but don't read. I mean, I'm just throwing an idea out there. Not saying that's the real reason, but I'm just saying that in this case, let's face it. If you make a commitment to buy 11 of anything for that's going to run you out at about $5 million 5 years in the future. That's a bit risky.
Yeah.
That's a bit risky. You could have started with a couple and worked your way up. But we're neither Natalie or I are mad at them. Okay, It is unfortunate what's going to happen to them. And I know there's going to be all kinds of comments on. Yeah, I'm glad. I hate them. You don't know them, so why do you hate them? I mean, seriously. But what it does is it really clearly underlines market problems. Yes. And also the fact that if you have had a very, very, very successful market with prices rising to batshit crazy levels and incredible enthusiasm about some things that are, let's face it, sale by assignment, you're buying a put on a future of a piece of real estate. I mean, it's unusual. Okay.
Well, a few years ago, it was like putting your money into a savings account. You pay the deposit, you wait a few years, sell it, you make your money, take it out. That's what it was like. And now, not so much.
And like for everything else in the world, when something works okay for 10 years, people double and triple down. That's just not everybody, but some people do. So that's the stories of the day. That's the sad truth of higher rates. Higher mortgage rates. And when I say sad, because there's always people who say, well, maybe it's not sad. Maybe the price of homes will come down and I can afford to buy one finally. Okay, granted, that's true. But for a lot of people, it's a big goddamn problem. It's a lot of stress. It's stress in their families. It's stress in their lives. High rates, because 10,000 renewals happen every week, right? I mean, and there's no sign of it coming back down anytime soon. Million people going to be faced with a couple of million in the next year, going to be faced with big renewal increases. All not good. No bueno at all.
No bueno.
And a real estate slowdown that's definitely going to do legitimate harm to people financially. For some people, not all people. And, that kind of financial fallout that means that somebody's going to have to file for bankruptcy.
Somebody's going to pay.
Somebody's going to pay. Which kind of circles back to one of the things that's made me particularly mad. It's angry mortgage, so I'm supposed to be mad, right? Yeah. And I'm mad. Natalie will attest that I get mad. She absolutely knows that I get mad. Okay. It happens. It happens. Yeah. We
get over it quickly. We just don't listen to the old man anymore.
Imagine how mad that makes me. The deal is let's just segue into our favorite part of the program.
What the actual fuck?
What the actual fuck happened to Premier Ford in Ontario this week? Oh, Jesus.
We both, it's just a sigh of
Christ
pissed
almighty.
offness.
Okay. Like, God, this makes me mad. The Greenbelt. We've talked about the Greenbelt on the show. Natalie, you have a good perspective on this because I think much of your family lives in the goddamn Greenbelt.
Most of my friends' family live in the Greenbelt.
They
Yes.
live in the Greenbelt. Okay.
Yeah.
And when you drive to see them, are you driving through beautiful, pristine farmland that's vital? No.
No, I'm all for the farmers. I support the farmers. Many of my family friends are farmers.
Yeah.
Be it like Smithville, very huge chicken presence.
Sure. Big.
Chicken shit is terrible, but pig is worse.
Pig is worse. Nothing's as bad as pig shit.
All for the farmers. And I'm not develop either. I'm not that kind of person. Yes, we need farmland. But fuck me, especially right off the highway, there's some stuff that could be built on. Come on.
It's garbage, right? It's just
garbage
scrubland. Yeah.
I don't even think you can grow on it.
No, you can't grow on rocks. No, you can't grow on rocks. No, that's true.
There's not goats grazing. There's not cows milking. It's just there, but it's protected.
Now, I know our environmental friends will say, you two know fuck all about this. Shut up. We know. You don't know. If we say it's Greenbelt, it's fucking Greenbelt. Okay, fine. Whatever.
Yeah. No, you're right. We didn't go to school for that.
No, we did not. But we also have eyes in our heads.
And common sense.
And like, there ain't going to be no farm on this 150 acres of rocks. Okay. So, because people have been living in the area for, 200 years and nobody's tried it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. Why am I so fucking mad? I'm mad because the Greenbelt, which was created over 30 years ago, 28 years, that's a long fucking time. Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody then, when it happened, when it was created, would ever fucking dream that 500,000 immigrants would come to Ontario, okay?
A year.
In a year, okay? Nobody would dream that this would happen. It has happened. It will happen. It sure as shit, no matter how much...
Continuing to happen.
No matter how much of our prime minister tries to destroy the relationships we have with every other country in the world, okay? Like, it's probably still going to keep on happening, okay? There are many, many people are going to come to Ontario. And we will need to build... Nobody thought 28 years ago that we'd be this many goddamn people here, okay?
Oh.
So, I think even the people who designed the Greenbelt legislation all those years ago would say, you know what? We probably could let a little out with all these people, okay?
Little contingency plan.
Something, okay? But, Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, has to fuck this into the ground, okay?
Because they were releasing some of it. And now they're not because of why?
Because this Premier Ford is too friendly with the goddamn developers. And I mean it. Like, people say, well, you're in the real estate, you're more, you shouldn't say goddamn developers. Look. Yeah, goddamn developers. Okay, because, like, you don't need to you're already rich, for the love of Christ, okay?
Yeah.
You don't need to make that much more money. You don't need to be getting a massage because it's kind of fucking creepy. So what happened in last week was, we just, there's a bunch of people, the developer met the minister, a couple of minister and a chief of staff in the lobby of the Wynn Hotel in Las Vegas, which I'm extremely familiar with, okay? Just by accident. Oh, wait. It wasn't by accident. Actually, my memory was faulty. Actually, we all shared a joint massage and pedicure and mani together. And like, first of all, what the fuck are you having? Like, it's not a couples thing, for Christ's sakes. I mean, but it's fucking ridiculous. And they all had to resign. These guys resigned. There's been so many resignations. You need a fucking scorecard to keep track of the resignations, okay? Yeah. And the cabinet of the chiefs of staff of the... Holy shit, okay? Like, Premier Ford, you're just a little too fond of other... By the way, people think Ford's rich. He ain't rich. I mean, he got some money.
He's not rich, though.
No, he's not rich.
He's not helicopter rich.
No, he's not private jet rich.
Yeah.
Okay, because here's the thing. His family money is from the printing business. Who the fuck is printing anything anymore? Like fucking nobody. Okay. So, but these developers, his friends, he openly calls them his friends, he invites them to some fucking stag and doe for his daughter. I can't even keep track of the bullshit because I hate this bullshit.
Well, at the end of the day, it's all fallen to shit because certain individuals couldn't keep it above board.
Look, like I don't need another lawyer's letter like I got from the mortgage asshole. Okay. But
Did you?
I got a letter. I got a lawyer's letter from the mortgage asshole rant. But
Mr.
anyway.
Motherfucker.
Yeah. But which is fine. I don't care because here's what my lawyer said. Well, Ron, you realize the primary defense against defamation is you told the truth.
And didn't mention a name. We can.
No, I think I mentioned a name, but it's okay. It's
Oh.
okay. Like, it doesn't matter. I mean, like, here's the other thing. You have to prove damages in a defamation suit. So if you actually end up with no mortgage brokerage license, what are the damages? What are the damages?
Yourself, sir.
You did it to yourself, sir. Okay. So look, but let me finish off with this this rant for Premier Ford. Like, we could have really, really used some of, not all the land, not 10% of the land, not 5% of the land, maybe 2% of the land. The Greenbelt's so fucking big. Okay. But we could have used it. But guess what? Because of scandal, worthless, stupid fucking scandal, which you brought on yourself. Okay. We're not going to get any land out of that Greenbelt for 10 years. There's not another politician going to go near that thing for another 10 years.
Now.
Totally fucking tainted. Okay. So thank you, Premier Ford, for fucking that one into the ground. Okay. Like, God damn it. Like, here's the thing. I'm not saying that I know this for sure, but maybe 45 people have told me it's true. That there may have been a premier who, as a teenager, was the number one hash salesman in Etobicoke for a while. That's possible. That was true.
It's legal now.
Okay, but that's fine. But what I'm suggesting is maybe somebody isn't too worried about stretching shit. Okay, maybe that's inside him. Okay, maybe and again, he's not super rich. He's not private plane rich. Okay. And maybe the idea of being friendly with the people who are private jet rich, okay, appealed to him, okay? I don't know those answers. I don't know if it's all true. I just know, once again, the public is fucked. Yep. Because for stupidity, there could have been a simple, honest, no bullshit way of setting up a commission, picking what land everybody could agree to take out 2%. That's it. 2%. Cool. Okay. Help expand, help housing. It could have happened. I know there's going to be 1,000 comments. No, you're wrong. You are so fucking wrong. It's all wrong. We need that Greenbelt there for the rest of time. For 10,000 years, that Greenbelt. Oh, shut the fuck up. That's stupid. Okay. But now it's lost. Now the chance of getting any of that land out is lost. Okay.
Yeah. So if you want to get angry about greed, don't go after poor Mr. 11 condo guy. Maybe go after.
Yeah, maybe go after somebody who's got real power.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe go after somebody who's got real power.
That's what you should be angry about.
That's what you should be angry about. So that's the rant. That's the what the actual fuck. Premier Ford, what the actual fuck happened here? Okay. We should have got some agreeable amount of land, like a tiny sliver of land in vital places that wouldn't be farmland, out of the Greenbelt, not enrich any cronies, not enrich any friends. Do it in an organized way that everybody could agree to. But now we're fucked. Okay.
Perfect.
Bad move, Premier Ford, bullshit move. All right. See you next week.
If you like the pod, well, don't just sit there. Go to YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and all the other ones and like the pod. And don't forget to subscribe so we can keep being angry at mortgages and swearing about mortgages. Angry Mortgage could use your support.